So, basically, why do we pay taxes?
When people receive their paycheck, buy something in a store, or own a house, they notice that some money goes toward taxes. This raises a common question: why do we pay taxes at all? Many people do not enjoy paying taxes, but taxes have been one of the main ways societies have funded public services for thousands of years. To understand why taxes exist, it helps to look at both history and the modern world. A short history of taxes. Taxes are not a new idea. They have existed for thousands of years. Ancient civilizations, such as Egypt, Rome, and China, collected taxes long before modern governments existed. In some cases, taxes were paid with money. In other cases, people paid with crops, livestock, labor, or other goods. For example, a farmer might have been required to give a portion of the yearly harvest to the ruler. A builder might have been required to spend several days each year working on public projects. History also provides some famous examples of taxes. In ancient Egypt, farmers often paid taxes with grain from their harvest. In ancient Rome, taxes helped fund roads, aqueducts, and the Roman army. One of the most famous taxes in history was the British tea tax imposed on the American colonies in the 1700s. The tax became so unpopular that it contributed to the Boston Tea Party and eventually the American Revolution. Another well-known example was England's window tax, introduced in 1696. Because the tax was partly based on the number of windows in a building, some homeowners literally bricked up their windows to reduce their tax bill. Taxes helped fund armies, roads, irrigation systems, government officials, and public buildings. Over time, governments became larger and more complex. As countries grew, tax systems also became more organized. Today, taxes are usually collected in money rather than goods or labor. Why do governments need taxes? Modern countries provide many services that would be difficult for individuals to fund on their own. Taxes help pay for these services. For example, tax revenue may help fund roads and highways, public schools, police departments, fire departments, courts and legal systems, national defense, public parks, libraries, public transportation, infrastructure projects, certain healthcare programs, government administration. Imagine if there were no taxes. Who would pay for parks? Who would maintain roads and bridges? Who would build metros, ports, and playgrounds? Taxes provide a way for millions of people to contribute toward services that benefit society as a whole. The main types of taxes. Most countries collect several different types of taxes. Let's look at some of the most common ones. Income tax. Income tax is one of the most familiar taxes. It is collected from money people earn through work, business activities, or certain investments. For example, if someone earns $50,000 per year, a portion of that income may go toward federal, state, or local taxes depending on where they live. The exact amount can vary significantly depending on location. For example, Florida does not have a state income tax, while California has some of the highest state income tax rates in the United States, with top rates exceeding 10%. As a result, two people earning the same salary may take home different amounts of money, depending on where they live. Income taxes often provide a large share of government revenue. Sales tax. Sales tax is collected when people purchase goods or services. For example, if a product costs $100 and the sales tax is 7%, the customer pays $107. The extra $7 goes to the government. Because sales taxes are collected at the time of purchase, people often notice them every day. Property tax. Property taxes are usually paid by homeowners and owners of certain types of real estate. The amount is often based on the value of the property. Property taxes frequently help fund local services such as schools, roads, and emergency services. Corporate tax. Businesses may also pay taxes on profits. These taxes are often called corporate taxes. Large companies and small businesses alike may owe taxes depending on their income and structure. Payroll tax. Many countries collect taxes that help fund programs such as retirement systems or healthcare programs. In the United States, payroll taxes help fund programs such as Social Security and Medicare. These taxes are often deducted directly from employee paychecks. Where does the money go? Tax revenue is used for many different purposes. The exact breakdown varies by country. However, government budgets often include spending on education, healthcare, defense, transportation, infrastructure, public safety, social programs, government operations, interest on government debt. For example, when a government builds a new bridge, repairs a highway, or funds a public school, part of that money often comes from tax revenue. Are taxes the same for everyone? Not necessarily. Different countries use different tax systems. Some systems are called progressive tax systems. In a progressive system, people with higher incomes generally pay a larger percentage of their income in taxes. Other taxes are flat taxes, where everyone pays the same percentage. Taxable income can also be reduced through deductions, credits, and exemptions. For example, in many countries, people may be able to deduct certain business expenses, mortgage interest, charitable donations, retirement contributions, educational expenses, or other qualifying costs. As a result, two people with similar incomes may end up paying different amounts of tax, depending on their circumstances and the tax laws in their country. Why do people argue about taxes? Taxes are one of the most debated topics in economics and politics. The debate is usually about how much should be collected and how it should be spent. Can a country operate without taxes? In theory, a government could try to rely on other sources of income. For example, some countries earn substantial revenue from oil, natural gas, state-owned companies, or investment funds. However, most countries still rely heavily on taxes because government expenses are often extremely large. Modern societies require roads, schools, emergency services, courts, infrastructure, and many other services that cost billions of dollars every year. Taxes remain one of the most reliable ways to fund those activities. The big picture. At first glance, taxes may simply look like money being taken out of your paycheck, but taxes are one of the foundations of modern society. So basically, taxes are the way societies pool resources, so governments can provide services and infrastructure that would be difficult for individuals to fund on their own.